Hello and welcome back to the Eyes of Old Gaming channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today I have another older game in my What Is It and Is It Worth It game review series. In this video I will go through the various aspects of the game, trying my best to avoid spoilers for new players, and give examples of similar games as well as my personal opinion as to whether I would recommend the game with a thumbs up or thumbs down, and if I personally enjoyed it. I won't be giving a number rating to the game as many other channels do, as I find this to be a very arbitrary way of rating games, which like any other entertainment is completely subjective, and instead I prefer to give enough info for you to make a decision on your own if you would like to go forward with picking up this title for yourself. If you're feeling the need for some badassery, killing demon legions of hell, and general mayhem, all while on the red planet of war, Mars, then look no further than one of the most influential forerunners of the first-person shooter genre, Doom. Today we're looking at Doom, which released in 2016, not to be confused with the original Doom, which it does share its namesake with, simply that of just Doom. Though originally planned to be Doom 4, the project was cancelled and instead a complete reboot of the series was made and renamed to Doom. The game was developed by id Software and published by Bethesda Softworks, and as mentioned released in 2016, making this one over half a decade old now. So let's take a look at this reboot of the classic franchise together and see if it has held up over the years and if it's still worth it for a first-time player, and more importantly, if this one is still worth it for you to pick up.
They are rage, brutal, without mercy. But you will be worse. Rip and tear, until it is done.
So what is Doom? Well, it's a first-person shooter that takes place in 2149 on the planet Mars. You play as the protagonist, the Doomslayer, also often referred to simply as Doom Guy, and will play through a series of missions which take place within the overrun Union Aerospace Corporation facilities, as well as on the surface of Mars. The game will see you playing through the main campaign, taking overall direction from the head of the facility, Dr. Samuel Hayden, though your method of mission completion may differ from the exact instructions the doctor gives you. Essentially, portals to hell are open, demons come out to kill everyone, and it's up to Mr. Doom Guy to put the genie back in the bottle by killing all the demons and possessed undeads, as well as destroying many of the devices used to keep the portals open. Though the story is relayed as you play through, I would say the storyline and narrative takes a major backseat in this one. The focus of the game is the gameplay, and the gameplay is shooting and smashing, a lot of it. If you're coming into this one looking for a deep, intriguing story, it is best to curb your expectations a bit, as this is a straight-up shooter through and through. Getting into the meat and potatoes of the game, it's a first-person shooter and you'll be given a variety of weapons to dish out destruction. The game is firmly on the rails, meaning that although you can do some limited exploration in zones, it really is about moving from mission zone to zone and killing everything in sight. Typically, once you engage enemies in an area of conflict, you will be destroying waves of demons, which will progressively get tougher and tougher as they spawn in. Near the late mid to end game on the harder difficulties, you will get pushed to the point where combat seems to drag on completely too long, at which point the game will then continue to spawn in demons for at least 4 more waves. Be prepared to make good use of the environment and any power-ups scattered around the zone as you engage in this dance-like duel, running circles around the map, constantly killing everything around you. The game is really focused on ultra-violence and just never really lets up. There are some side challenges throughout which you can complete, however even these are typically centered around killing enemies and destruction. There's very little in the way of other gameplay features aside from deathmatches, with those limited other features mainly consisting of pressing a button or flicking a switch. The graphics have held up exceptionally well. The mayhem you cause will be rendered in all its gory glory. The zones are all mostly quite similar, either being in destroyed facility, the surface of Mars, or taking place in Hell itself. Though a little repetitive, the environments are well made and sufficiently detailed. The destruction looks good and makes for great arenas of killing. There aren't a ton of other features to talk about in this game. There is some upgrading in the form of upgrading weapons as well as suit and rune upgrades. The weapon upgrades are made by finding drones or completing unique weapon-specific challenges. Your suit itself is upgraded a couple different ways. One is by looting dead elite guards you will find around the zone, essentially giving you modded abilities, or by collecting Argent cells, which have a more direct impact by increasing health, armor, and ammo limits. Completing those rune challenges are a good idea as well, as the benefits gained will help your character in multiple different ways. Sound is really quite good in this game. The soundtrack is perfect for your tasks, the weapons sound great, and dialogue is really well made. Again, the story itself is not extremely deep, so don't expect long exposition. However, the lines that have been acted fit well with the overall tone and come across very well.
You'll find the Helix Stone in Olivia's private archival lab deep within this facility.
He cannot be allowed to leave this place. He would ruin everything.
So what can I compare this to? While others in the Doom franchise are obviously similar, though this is substantially more modern than any that had come previously. Even Doom 3 does not come close in terms of graphics and fast-paced violence. Being that this is such a singularly focused shooter game, you can certainly draw some parallels to any of the major shooters as well. Though I found this one to play out almost like an online shooter rather than a typical solo main campaign. The reason being that in order to survive, you must constantly move and shoot your way through the deathmatch-like killing zones. Though your enemies will not be using similar tactics as you, which separates it from a typical online shooter such as a Call of Duty or similar game, it does have that fast-paced, chaotic feeling of movement and destruction. So now that we've looked at some of the features of the game, we reach the point of my review where I give a more subjective look at my personal experience with it. Please keep in mind that the following is just my opinion of the game, and if the features and genre seem interesting to you, you should definitely check it out for yourself, as not all games are for all gamers. The game that you hate might be the next gamer's all-time favorite, which is one of the things that I love about gaming. There's always something for someone out there. Did I enjoy the game, and would I recommend it?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it was good. It certainly is a well-made shooter. It's well polished, little to no bugs, performing exactly as advertised. I felt the story was of very little interest though, taking even more of a backseat than in Doom 3. I actually really enjoyed Doom 3, including the storyline, and honestly I would say maybe I even preferred Doom 3 due to it having a more engaging story. The combat, however, is done extremely well, especially if you enjoy online shooters. Personally, I've never really liked online shooters and really prefer a more realistic style military shooter, with a methodical advance on enemies using logical tactics rather than just the chaotic run and gun. Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun to just go completely unplugged and have the tense deathmatch moments when you think you've got nothing left in the tank but somehow pull through. It's just not really my personal favorite style of shooter. I fully expect most people to disagree with me on this point though, as it is an almost perfectly created shooter in the style that is most popular today. I would imagine if you're a fan of the most popular shooter games, this one is an almost must-have for you. So I hope you enjoyed this look at Doom, or Doom 2016 as it is often referred to. Have you played the game already? Did you agree or disagree with my assessment? I would enjoy to read about your takes in the comments section as well. Please like the video if you found it entertaining or informative, and also consider subscribing to the channel. I make a variety of gaming content and would be very happy to have you join the community and direct the future of the channel. Otherwise, thank you so much for taking the time to watch today, and until next time, take care.